I don't normally do this, but I'm going to be reading from my script today because there's so many topics and ideas that I want to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Should you play Hunt in 2023? Hunt Showdown is a game that is, in my opinion, far different from most FPS games on the market. The guns, the tools, the team dynamic, and even solo dynamic are aspects to consider if you're looking to play Hunt for the first time. Could it be played like any other FPS? Sure. But will you get a good payoff in doing so? That's the iffy part. Now, all of this will have to do with the PvP side of Hunt Showdown, as the PvE side, player versus environment side, is more so catered towards bringing everybody into one area in order to fight. That's kind of really what the bosses are at the end of the day. They don't do anything special or crazy. They kind of just they make players centralized. So let's start off with the current MMR standings. Just like other shooters like Siege, CSGO, Apex, etc. that have MMR, Hunt has an MMR system that ranges from 1 to 6 star. Now, Hunt can be aggravating with this system due to the fact that you can't see precise MMR numbers that you're at. So you're a 4-star player, you don't precisely know where you are in the 4-star bracket. You could be a low 4-star, or you could be a high 4-star. You really don't know, so you kind of have to gauge where you're at. Have you been popping off in the last 3 to 4 matches? You're probably high 4-star on your way into 5-star. Have you been getting dropped in the last 3 to 4 matches? Well, you're probably on your way back into 3-star. Have you been off and on the last 3 to 4 matches? Well, who knows where you're going, but you may even be staying in the 4-star. Right now, there's a negative community feedback on the MMR system due to a lot of people being thrown into a higher MMR bracket and being pitted against better players. So maybe you're a 3-star, and after the match, you check the MMR of all the teams in the last match, and it shows you were in a lobby of 5 stars. That doesn't feel good to the 3-star player, but of course, the 5-star players are fine with it. It's a rough situation, and I've had it multiple times where I've been in 5-star lobbies, but there was a team of 2 3-star and a 4-star, and they're sub 300 kills and deaths. I'm sure the match didn't feel too fun for them. This could be a deal breaker for most, especially due to how Hunt is played, but that's for you to decide. For me, I tend to not care about MMR and just play the game. If someone is better than me, then they're better than me, and I should get better. If someone is not as good as me, then they're just not as good, or I may be in the right spot. Regardless, I don't like to look at the MMR system, and I think it would be best removed, or just a hidden feature that players can't see but the server can. That, or just rework the MMR system to where it's a number system that's more precise versus the 6-star cap we currently have. Now, most games have some sound-based cues for movement or nades throws or reloads, etc., but Hunt takes us to a whole new level. If you do not have a good headset, then you may not have a good time. To do good in Hunt, or to get the upper hand, I strongly recommend a good headset. I've never worn headsets for gaming, but when I picked up Hunt and got deep into it, I stopped relying on my speakers and went out and picked up a headset. And to this day, I never wear headsets unless I'm playing Hunt. Hunt is very detailed with its sound, going as far as to hearing hunters switch weapons, and even when they hold their breath going into ADS. This may not seem like a huge deal, but imagine a hunter on the other side of a wall, and he's waiting for you to walk through a door, and you hear him breathe in and go into ADS. You could pinpoint where he was and wallbang him, or even just know that someone's on the other side waiting for you. Hunt also lets you hear the different surfaces hunters run on, like tin roofs, dirt, sand, wood docks, snapping twigs, bean cans, loose brick, gravel on the train tracks, and more. I'm not saying go out and spend hundreds on a headset, but just know that the majority of the player base have headsets, and if you think someone's cheating, they just might have heard you instead. Which leads me into our next point. Cheaters. Crytek has just banned Reshade, which is a huge win for everyone. Reshade was an app used to recolor the game, allowing players to see through flashbangs, brighten the night maps, change certain colors to stand out more, and more. The community has been upset over this, and Crytek now says it's a bannable offense, which is great. But that's not the only form of cheating. There have been instances of hunters flying around the map, headshotting 300 meters plus across an open map, and heavy aim assist. I've not run into many, but I have had it to where a guy had wall hacks and aim assist. I know this because I had gotten headshot through walls from different angles while at Deviant Ranch every time I was rezzed or stopped moving. So that's my experience. So my experience is very few and far between for the most part. I think I've not encountered many cheaters. I tend to stay off the Hunt Reddit as it's always negativity and folks complain about anything they can get their hands on. But when it does pop up, it's typically about cheaters and MMR. The gameplay with Hunt can be hit or miss with most people. The guns are slow, actions are typically slow, but to an extent, Hunt can be as fast as you make it. Gunfights can last upwards of 20 minutes or as fast as 5 seconds. Headshots are one-shot kills at most ranges. You could be killed a minute into the match spawning next to another team, or you could stay the whole game and die at the end or win at the end. Most guns can kill in 1 to 3 shots, but reloads can be slow if you miss. Take into account the hunter you're fighting can heal and reposition. These are things that set Hunt apart from other FPS. You don't typically catch hunters out in the open and spray them down. They have the potential to run and heal and fight back. I strongly suggest before picking up Hunt to look at gameplay and go from there, but keep in mind you can't necessarily treat it as a run and gun game. Although you can, the outcome may leave you upset with Hunt. Randoms is a bit of controversy in the player base. Most people play with randoms, others either play with IRL friends or just play solo. The reason being is that at one point in Hunt's lifespan, there was a period to which you would spawn in the game with randoms and they would either kill you immediately or wait some time to kill you. Sometimes they'll revive you, sometimes they'll just leave. Sometimes randoms will push hard and die and leave the game. Sometimes they'll rage and yell at you that you're not helping. Because Hunt can be considered a hardcore shooter, there's negatives to dying like losing your loadout, your hunter, or if you care, losing KD and MMR. I personally do not play with randoms. I either play with my brothers or I'm not playing at all. Recently I've dabbled into solo play, but again, I've never played with randoms. So take this as you will, because if you don't have friends that play or aren't confident playing solo and stuck with randoms, then your coin, as far as I know, is 50-50. Now trades. We used to have a system in Hunt where 2 hunters could shoot each other and effectively kill one another. This got changed to where, essentially, whoever pulled the trigger first or had the faster velocity gun would win the gunfight. This got reverted back to the old way, and now trades are a thing again. I personally think this sucks, but it is also okay in a weird way. This is obviously because I prefer the gunfight to end in my favor, even if I'm on the losing end and take a last-ditch shot and trade. Personally, I like the non-trade type of Hunt. Now, this last point is rough. I know this whole video has been pretty much me being seemingly negative, but that's not at all how it's meant to be. This point, however, is a rough one, and that's the bugs. Crytek is able to fix one thing but break another. No way am I trying to crap on Crytek, but I do believe this should be known if you're looking to pick up Hunt. Bugs like the crossbow getting bugged, random DCs in the middle of a gunfight, not necessarily a bug, but it still does need to be mentioned, hearing other audio from someone else, spawning in the beginning of the match on top of another team, sometimes being poisoned and you can't get the poison effect off the screen. We used to have the reload bug, which seems to have been thankfully fixed. Crosshairs getting stuck very wide open or very, very small. In the case of the throwing axe, I've totally lost my crosshairs multiple times. With this being said, Hunt has had bugs since its inception, and it's pretty much a mainstay of Hunt itself. It's up to the players to kind of work around whatever bug hits them at the time, and when a new update comes out, you can be rest assured that you will 100% encounter bugs. So here we are in conclusion. How do we feel about Hunt? Should you pick it up in 2023? Here's what I say. Hunt is a very different FPS game than most, if not all, other FPS games on the market. The guns are slow, it's not hit scan, so you have to lead shots and there's travel velocity. The audio is the absolute best in any FPS. There are a plethora of different guns, but those guns also have different attachments. The maps are super unique to any other FPS. There's heavy lore, different shots to the body attribute to different amounts of damage. The bugs suck, but they're not necessarily game breaking besides DCing in the middle of a gunfight, but they're not fun to deal with. Hunt, despite what I have negatively said, is in a very good state right now. Again, yes, the bugs really do suck and can be extremely frustrating. However, Crytek has come a long way with Hunt, and I think it's getting a tad bit better as the time goes on. The events are decent, and with the new weather system they've been testing out, it's become even better. Hunt is a weird, very weird work of art, and it's either very beloved by the community or very frustrating and annoying with the community. I personally say that Hunt is worth it in 2023. You can sink hours upon hours into the game and still learn new things that you wouldn't expect. Hunt will go on sale every so often, and there's a few creators that have a discount code. Playing your first few games, try not to get discouraged if you die a lot, because you will. But Hunt has a small learning curve as to what you can and cannot get away with. Hopefully this helps your decision, and I'm always open to answering any question, especially in my streams. Thank you, and see you in the bayou.